In part 2 here, we're going to do a different variation of our pigeon pose. So in the last video, we did it on all fours, we did it the traditional way. Here we're just going to show you a really easy version, which is the one that I recommend to all of my clients because it's simple. To be honest, with a lot of yoga, if you have to roll out a mat and get on the floor and do certain things, it already puts barriers in front of you. You might not have time. This version you can do anywhere. You can just do it in any chair, wherever you are, so it's much easier. So for our pigeon pose, what we're trying to do for this version is get our ankle. I'm just taking my right ankle and putting it, now I'm not crossing my legs, okay? I'm putting my ankle on top of my knee so I get like a 4. So what this does is opens my hips and keep this out here, okay? That's what we're trying to do here. Now, if you're doing this, and you start to feel that stretch out in the hip already, you don't need to do anything else. Just relax your shoulders and just breathe. By leaning your hand on this, it just opens the hip out a little bit more. You don't have to do this. I just find it becomes natural, it becomes easier to just balance here, and it adds a little bit more weight to the stretch. If you're doing this and you don't really feel a whole lot, or you feel that you've done this long enough and you're not feeling enough, what we do then is we roll the shoulders back and we lean forward from the hips. We're hinging from the hips just enough until you go, okay, there's the stretch. I can hold that, and you just hold, and then you breathe. Breathe in and exhale. And as you exhale, the hips go a little bit deeper. So we're stretching naturally from here. Then, like all the others, you can gently come back out of it, take a breather, and when you're ready, again, you can just lean forward and then just breathe in and breathe out. You can do that as many times as you like. It's a really simple and easy way of doing your pigeon pose, and you'll find that you'll do this more regularly. Open enough, or you might have tightness in the knee. What we can do is use a block, or we could use a small stool. And what we do then is we'll just pop our foot on the block. So if you see here, my knee falls out to the side, which is opening my hip. And again, if you're very, very tight and stiff, you'll probably feel a stretch there. If you don't feel it, we can put the hands on here, and you're just, again, not leaning forward, roll the shoulders back, lean forward from the hip until you can feel it right out into the side of the hip. And just relax, and then just breathe in and exhale. So you can see here's a little bit of movement in my foot. I don't like doing it with these because I don't think they're stable enough. But if you had a small stool, something like that. So what you can do then is you can do your exercise from here, and then you might put one of these blocks on top of the stool. So we can raise it up inch by inch over months, not weeks, over months, or maybe if your hip allows it, until you can get to this position. But whether it's here or here, you'll get the same feeling in the stretch from there. So this is the easy seated version of the pigeon pose. We can do the same thing seated on the floor. Okay, so this takes a little bit more because obviously we have to get onto the ground. I like to do this with a bolster because I think the bolster does a lot of the work and it makes it much easier and more comfortable to do. So sitting on the floor, bolster underneath my knees, and I roll my shoulders back. So we've already done some of this stuff where once I do this, my core is being engaged and my back muscles are working. So we're already doing good. So for the pigeon pose, we're going to pull this leg so that the shin is being supported by the bolster, okay? So depending on your flexibility, you might be able to come here, you might be there, you might only be here. It doesn't matter, it opens up the hip. But try and get your shin as much onto here because we want the bolster to do the work. So when you find a position that's comfy where it's not hurting your knee and it's not hurting your hip, we inhale So now we're in this seated pigeon pose. And as I lean forward to make it work a little more, I'm just going to keep my shoulders rolled back. I move from the hip and I just breathe. Breathing in and exhaling, increasing that stretch. And again, you can always come back out, take a rest. I like to alternate so I can do the other side. Pull this up. And you might be aware that one side is more flexible than the other, which is quite normal. And then from here, another variation, relax the shoulders and just lean forward until you feel that stretch out into the hip. And then bring it back to center. And then bring it back. So it's a much easier version than getting onto your wrist, especially if your wrists are sore. So slide this up, get comfortable. Roll the shoulders back and then just start to lean forward from your hips until you go, oh, there it is. You might often feel it on the inside as well if it's super tight. And then just take a breath in and exhale. And then bring it back up to center. So we have two seated versions. The easy version where we're sitting on the chair means we can do that anywhere. Kitchen, the front room, anybody's house, it doesn't matter. It's much easier. This one is a very easy version as well, but it just means we have to get onto the floor and we have to do a little bit more to get in. So if you're already on the floor doing a couple of other exercises, this is the perfect way to add this in. If you don't have time and you don't have your mat, you can still do the exercise sitting on your chair. So this is the second seated variation of our pigeon pose. So the first video we did was the traditional way, we were on all fours. And this way, in my opinion, is the easiest way and one of the best ways to do pigeon pose if you want to just work your piriformis and ease out any sciatic pain. So hope you enjoyed those. Give it a go. Make sure you don't overdo it. Just take everything nice and light and just work with your breath. Don't force anything and just breathe in. And you should see some good results in a few weeks. So enjoy.